Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
So what the hell are we doing here?
To provide the strong language.
But not for 10 minutes. Not for 10 minutes. Just in case this might get, monetized at some point.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. I still have the YouTube stream. The YouTube won't let me mute it until it's actually started. So I always start out with that echo for the first minute.
Greg, back in 60 seconds or 60 minutes? Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Good day.
Let me go look at the stuff here.
It looks like our count is right this time. It says we got 2 people watching, so if that's Mark and Greg, YouTube actually got it right for once.
Well, I'm in
Amazing.
there too. So
Well, so am I, so.
So it didn't get it right.
No, we've got at least 3 or 4 people watching it. It says there's only 2. And by all accounts, there's probably a couple of lurkers around there. Because Carrie's always there, but never says anything until we start saying the goodbyes.
I'm a lurker. She's a lurker. They're a lurker. Wouldn't you like to be a lurker too?
So what superstitions do we have?
Hello, Hans. Well, today is Defy Superstitions Day, so you're supposed to come up with as many superstitions as you can and purposely break them, like walking under ladders and letting black cats cross your path and breaking mirrors.
I've really taken care of all superstitions. I do not believe in superstitions. I never have believed in superstitions. And just to be sure, every morning when I get up, I look to the east and turn around 3 times. And as long as I do that, nothing happens.
Okay.
Well, Diana got it.
Yeah, I got it. Let's see, we got the superstition of telling the bees for gardening superstitions.
Telling the bees?
Yep.
The hell is that?
It's where you talk to the bees.
Well, I think
hear
if I
about
was
Talk
spending
to
much
the
time out in the
bees,
garden,
but they don't listen to me.
I think if I was spending much time out in the garden, I would talk to the bees and anything else that's around.
Well, some the superstitions that talking to the bee is for beekeeping is essential for honey production.
Well, I have heard that that's part of just keeping them calm, is talking to them, in a low, calm voice. Which I can see that, like, if you're shouting, if there's very, loud vibrations in the air, that could agitate them.
Well, just being quiet would do the same thing then.
Yeah, but that's being antisocial. And bees are very social insects, so.
Well, they're more for dancing.
This is true.
And they taste good.
Well, their honey tastes good.
No, bees dipped in honey. Duh.
Never had bees dipped in honey.
And when they sting your tongue, that's kind of like a built-in salsa.
Mm-hmm.
How much honey have you harvested ever?
Me personally?
Yeah, that's to you.
None, actually. I've never kept bees before.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you keep bees?
I would like to, actually. But I'm not so sure my neighbors would like me having a beehive.
Well, fuck them.
Yeah, I've never harvested honey.
You live in a place where there's alligators right around the corner. I don't think bees are much of a threat.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many people around here bulk at a bee over a gator.
I don't know. Unless you're allergic to them, I don't see the problem with bees. I've been stung many times.
I've been out in my garden with bees swarming all around me and never got stung.
Yeah, they have no interest if they're collecting at flowers and stuff. They have no interest in bothering you. they're pretty busy trying to survive.
I've had several occasions where starting out a demolition job, we accidentally discovered a wasp's nest, and I got stung several dozen times in one day.
Oh, that must have been fun.
Yeah, they just don't really seem to affect me much more than mosquito bites.
Oh,
I mean, initially it hurts, but, after just like half an hour, they just itch.
lucky you.
I haven't been stung way too many times, but it seems like each time I get stung, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting to go into anaphylaxis one of these days and drop dead.
That's what I was going to say, that Slothgirl is very allergic to bee stings. And that's if she doesn't have the EpiPen along, she could go into anaphylactic shock very easily.
I think I've only been stung by a bee once.
Yeah, when I was doing the landscaping, it happened too, that I got stung actually several days, but one day I got stung about 5 or 6 times before I could get out of the area.
When we were kids, we were of course sick in the head, and we would catch bumblebees off of this flowering locust tree that we had.
Mm-hmm.
God, it was a beautiful tree. I've never seen anything like it since. But anyways, we'd catch them in peanut butter jars, and then get them really pissed off at you, and then let them go, and run. It was just fun. Until they catch you.
Yeah.
And it's not very comfortable.
I can think of other things to do for fun.
Well, we were 8 years old,
Even at 8 years old, I can think of other things I could do for fun.
This was in the early 60s. There were barely even streets.
Yep.
I could still think of the things to do better than having bees chase me for fun.
We did the same kind of thing in the early 70s. That there were some flowers that grew along the railroad tracks that we would go and collect bees in jars.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? When I think back, it wasn't that long ago that I lived in an area that had no paved streets.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a 90-year-old guy down the street from me who was telling me about how he remembers a time when he didn't have electricity.
Yep. Well, I remember when my grandma's house had no electricity.
Yeah, we stayed at a friend of my grandma's once, and they didn't have electricity or plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma's house to this day doesn't have indoor plumbing. My uncle has tried to install a well pump like a dozen times, and it just doesn't like it. The pumps just don't last. It's like the house refuses to have internal water, so they still have to use an outhouse that's 50 yards from the back door.
Well, just cut a hole in the roof. You'll get water inside.
That must be nice in February.
Yeah, but I remember as a kid, that was one of the things every time we went up there to visit, that we'd have to go down to the campground, which still had a hand pump, and we'd have to take turns pumping to fill up as many jugs of water as we could to fill up the back end of the station wagon.
I've wondered if having to go to an outhouse is where taking a shit came from.
Well, you don't take a shit. You don't take a piss. You leave them.
Yeah.
Thank you, George Carl.
Well, you're taking the shit to the outhouse,
I suppose. You're taking it outside.
Yeah.
Don't give me no shit.
Like how you're taking out the garbage?
Actually tying the two topics together, about the worst thing that can happen to you is if the wasps decide to build a nest under the seat in your outhouse. I've seen that happen.
Boy.
I was at it was something to do with cars. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we're digging around and getting car parts, and the car was located on some old guy's farm, and it was parked outside, and we had to get some certain body parts off of it, and we noticed that there's this big the size of your fist, bigger than that even, hornet's nest. The paper hornets that build those lovely little things up in the corner. And he says, "Oh, here, I'll get rid of that." And he just reaches in and grabs the whole damn thing and crushes it in his hand. That's like, Jesus Christ! How do you do that? I mean, didn't get stung or nothing. Just
I've seen videos of people doing that.
Not me.
Yeah. There was this one video. This guy was like reviewing it. It was like, I'm not sure what. Yeah, it had some kind of accent. I can't remember. I'm not sure what, but it kind of made it funnier the way he used with his accent. He was like, "Oh my gosh, that guy's like, if he shakes your hand, he's gonna crush it." So I have to find it again sometime.
Actually, the best way to deal with a wasp's nest is to go out there at night, especially if the temperature drops below 50 degrees. Because below 50 degrees, they can't warm up enough to fly. And then just take a garden hose and just keep spraying it till you drench the whole nest.
Someone on my gardening forum was dealing with a wasp nest that was built on their banana plant. I was recommending that they smoke out the wasps and just cut the piece off that has the nest, since it's on a dead piece.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Another gardening myth is planting your plants during moon phases. This one's actually still practiced by some people.
I can definitely see that coming from, a lot of pagan beliefs that, that the moon goddess was worshipped in a lot of pagan faiths. So kind of that you were, doing them under the protection of the goddess type thing.
That might have been part of it. The justification now is that the extra moonlight during like a full moon helps increase growth.
Hi, Doc Fearsome. Is fearsome like a message to other people through danger? It's Doc Fearsome, or is it more like I'm Doc and I'm fearsome, so don't scare me or nothing?
Moo.
Mark, you're supposed to kill them first. You just cut their little heads off. It's not good to smoke brain.
Brains.
What was that movie we watched last night?
Killer of Tomatoes Strike Back.
Okay.
Oh, I missed that one. Damn it.
It was pretty good.
If you want to say it's pretty good.
Hey,
well, for
Slothgirl.
a tomato movie, yeah. Hi, Sluthy. Nice to see you, Slothgirl.
Oh, and we've got Doc and Demon
Hey.
Orb.
Oh, a whole bunch got in there I didn't see. Hi, Demon.
Biff.
No, I think we should probably start our October off with Night of the Living Dead. The original.
I remember that one.
No, I think that'd be better for like the end of the month, right on Halloween or something.
No, I was gonna do like kind of horrors all month, and I was gonna finishing it off with Nightmare Before Christmas.
I come from the home of the Night of the Living Dead.
We could do a whole month of Freddy movies, eh?
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm. And there's enough to do like 2 or 3 months worth.
Yeah, I've never been big on the slasher movies.
Just any that have Jamie Lee Curtis in it. No, she's a hero for trans people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her daughter is trans.
Huh.
And she's quite vocal on her side. She's the opposite of Melon Musk. Or would that be Musk Melon?
The opposite of Elon Musk, what would that be? A normal person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. If you're not accepting your kid for who they are, or you're doing parenting wrong.
Yep.
Oh, well, let's hear the dirty dad jokes, Sloth. Peter Pan's favorite place to eat out. Wendy? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have answered
Wendy, yeah. That's the answer, I'm sure.
Well, what was that seafood place? Long John Silver, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I used to love that place. I was so annoyed when they went out.
Yeah, they had fairly decent clams.
They were owned by the same company that owns KFC and Taco Bell.
Yeah, and they've been putting those stores together.
Yeah, there was one near me that was a KFC and Long John Silver's. There was a side by side kind of thing, and then after Long John Silver's went away, they switched it to a Taco Bell on the other side, and then now it's looked like it's just a Taco Bell, not without the KFC, which really pisses me off.
Yep. There is one Long John Silver's left in Minnesota. It's in Mall of America. And unfortunately, because it's in Mall of America, the prices are all jacked up to ridiculous amounts.
Great.
As if that KFC had closed, he closed down, that means I have to travel 20 miles or further in order to get to the next KFC, which is what I have to do with just about everything around here. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's in Maple Grove, Minnesota. They had a triple one that had Long John Silver's, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell all in the same building.
No, yeah, that's right. Pizza Hut was also owned by the same company.
Yep. Well,
Pizza Hut makes these little tiny, what are they? Maybe 6-8-inch personal pieces.
Yep.
They're really tasty.
Those little personal pan pizzas from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. Unfortunately, they gotten way too expensive to be worth it, though.
Well, that was a great place to go to when I was taking care of kids, because you could never get all of them to agree to the same thing. So we could go there and they could all get something different.
I'd buy 3-4 of them and take them home and freeze them. So I could have pizza slut anytime I wanted.
Yeah, the other place I really missed was the Skipper's Seafood.
I don't know that one.
Never heard of it.
Oh,
Don't know that one either.
They had gotten big in the 90s, and they suddenly closed down under very suspicious circumstances. But
why do
we
never see a pregnant Barbie
place? Sorry, Jenny, what was that?
Why do we never see a pregnant Barbie?
We do.
They didn't make one. Well, probably because Ken has no genitalia.
You should be reading the chat.
Yeah, Slothgirls. I guess it's a Slothgirl joke here. Ken comes in another box, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
I made a stupid Twitter meme that I just posted earlier. I've been writing my book, and I got into the section where I had to create some understanding of history, so that these kids who would be reading the book now would understand the 50s, 60s, 70s. And I basically covered the 50s, 60s, and 70s in about 8 paragraphs. So that was pretty good. And now I forgot what I was going to say. It's amazing how that works. oh yeah, the meme. And so I was dealing with the 50s and all the fucking communist scare and the Red Scare and Madalyn Murray O'Hair scare and the need for people to put God in our pledge allegiance and on our money and all that kind of stuff. And I just remembered something, and so I went and made a meme, and it's got a little picture of an American flag up on top, and then it says, "Hey Megas, read this out loud," and then I write the pledge. I figure they'll see it's the pledge and they'll read it out loud. And then if they read the last line, they'll see that, did you know that it was written by Francis Bellamy, a minister and a socialist? I would just like Meg's people to know that. Is anybody
Well, is
alive
it the
there?
version of the pledge we know now, or was it the original version before they inserted under
Well,
God?
actually, he lived a long time, and he wrote the original in 1892, and then in 1923 they modified it and added, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. They added, and then the rest was the same. It wasn't until 54 that they added the God crap.
Yeah.
Along with adding God crap to a lot of other things too.
Yeah, our money.
Yeah, well, that was to prove that we were different from the godless communists in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the godless communists in Russia, the godless communists who had, God with us on our belts and stuff. Well, that's Nazis. Close enough.
How does Hitler tie his shoes?
I don't know.
In Little Nazis.
Jeszcze Petra dodaje хорошо do bedenie.
There's a sewing show on right now, and they're showing historical gowns and stuff that have been worn. There's some really unbelievably beautiful stuff.
Yeah, but that's why women needed maidens, because they couldn't dress themselves in those things.
No, a back zipper is confounding. I can't even do them myself anymore. I used to be able to. But
Yeah.
my shoulders just don't let me reach behind me as well as I used to.
I'm having that problem too. I'm afraid I'm going to dislocate my shoulder on some of them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, talking about shoulders made me want to stretch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Yeah, Martha Stewart is doing Maybelline commercials.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, no.
No, read it. It's a good one, Diana.
What it is.
What Slothgirl wrote. Look at the chat. Don't be such a bump.
Wait a minute. Cancel culturists will be attacking Maybelline now. It has Martha Stewart and an obviously transgender person talking about mascara.
Yay, Martha.
Okay.
Martha is really cool. I mean, she is an LGBT ally. She's also good friends with Snoop Dogg. Did you know that?
Well, you gotta get your drugs somehow.
They actually, that's probably true. She has made
They
allusion
had
to
something going
smoking.
on, no?
I don't know if they had something going on, but they met on a TV show, and they just had a good time together, making yucks and stuff. And so she invited him on her show, and they did some cooking stuff, and he's been on several times since. And they've been seen out in public, doing various things together. And no, it's nothing, kinky. Snoop's a married man with children and is very loyal, I hear. But it's neat that those two such divergent people would be buddies. Yeah, yeah, that's where Snoop Dogg gets his jokes from. Wouldn't surprise me either. Martha Stewart, head. I should send her a one hitter. Merry Christmas. God, there's actual children outside today. Ugh.
Yeah, it's people outside.
God, I remember when that was an everyday occurrence.
There's nothing to do inside, so you go outside.
If I turned on my air conditioner, I'd drown them out, but it's kind of too cold to do that today. It was 49 degrees this morning.
We're still in the 80s and 90s here.
Yeah, it was actually chilly enough last night that I had to close the windows.
Molly's looking at me like, what are you doing to my paw?
So, well, what are you doing to her paw?
I'm grabbing your paw with my toes.
Oh. Which would you rather have? Spatula hands or dog toes?
Dog toes.
And why?
Spatula hands seem less dexterous. I can get by with dog toes.
Yeah, it seems with spatula hands you couldn't really grip things very well.
Well, I would think that, if you have them long enough, you'd learn how to use them effectively. Like these people with no arms that can sew and draw and all kinds of stuff with their feet.
Yeah, but you actually can have some prehensile illness in your toes. That's how I can grab her paws and hold on to her. Actually, I can hold on to her toy, which I'm doing right now.
With your toes.
Yep. I can pick stuff up with my right foot.
Mm-hmm. I also can learn. I also learned that as a kid.
Yep.
Just one of those things that hey, why can't I pick stuff up with my feet? Look what monkeys can do.
I can do that too. I can pick things up with my toes.
Seeing as I can actually hold on to or tug of war toy for a little while with my foot, I guess I have some pretty good strength in my right foot.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this woman on YouTube who could pop a watermelon with her thighs.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's scary.
Well, you better be respectful. That's all I can say. Then I saw this other woman who could. Oh God, I don't know exactly what she was attaching it to because they didn't show that. But she was lifting objects and weights with her lower anatomy. Let's just say that because I really don't know what part.
Those are some heavy-duty Kegels.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So No, it's a friend of mine's birthday today. I'll be probably going over there tomorrow to celebrate, though, since they're working.
How old are they?
I believe they're 40.
Oh, good. I was just hoping they weren't under 18.
Hmm?
Oh, shit. I gotta take my meds.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with having younger friends. Dating people under 18 would be problematic, but just as friends, it's not. Yeah, I also saw a video once of a extremely busty woman who was smashing watermelons with her breasts.
Oh, Jesus.
Hmm?
I wonder what she had in those things.
Well, all natural could do that.
I don't believe that.
Big enough, they good.
Yeah, no, actually, I believe they were all natural because the fake ones tend to be much stiffer. The natural ones that big, tend to be more floppy.
That's kind of my thought. We could say tits? Oh, okay. Boobies.
Daju korostu.
Well, we're more than half an hour in, so we can use the bad language now.
Well, let's see here.
Welcome.
Annie Hawkins Turner, she wears a 52 eye bra, that weighs 56 pounds each. So yeah, I could see something like that being able to crush a watermelon.
56 pounds each?
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy fuck.
She apparently has the world.
No,
She
man.
apparently has the world record on largest breasts.
Yeah, okay, I can believe that.
Takes some effort just to stand up.
Damn. Well, I'm pretty small, but they still weigh an amazing amount for how big they are.
Yeah, one of my cousins had to have the breast reduction surgery because the weight of them was screwing up her back.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is the thing that really gets me. There are so many people who claim to want the J cups or the K cups, and I tell them they really don't, because you got the back problems going with all that shit. And they just laugh at me. So I wish that they could have what they want.
No, I think a C cup would be ideal.
Yeah, for me it is.
I want to have enough there that I have some visible cleavage.
You can get that in a B with a push-up bra. That's what they're for.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the way mine are growing, it just keeps pushing the nipples further out to the sides. So.
Okay.
Well, what you do is you take some of that paracord and you tie it around the base of it really tight, and then you wrap it around to the direction you want it to go, and you leave it that way for like a couple months, and it'll grow that direction.
Probably hurts like hell.
Is this another superstition or is this actual?
Oh no, this is a true story, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the hormones have barely given me an A cup, so.
Yeah, welcome to that club.
Yeah, well, I was told that was probably going to be the case just because starting at my age.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you started what, around 50? About the same age I did?
56 when I started.
Oh, a little after I did. Okay, because I was 52 when I started.
Excuse me.
America's Test Kitchen is on now. What are they making?
There we go. It's do I just need to get nipple piercings and put a turnbuckle between them and just keep tightening down a few turns each day?
Yeah, that could work. Sure. Well, you're in Minnesota. You'll the insurance you have will cover implants.
Yeah, it's one of the things I'm working on now is trying to get the insurance to approve it and get all the references.
You know, if your therapist is game for it, there's no reason why you can't get them now. You know, there's no rules about having to get bottom or anything like that before this or before that.
Well, I'm working on it. It's just there seems to be a lot of paperwork involved.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, I got a call from the clinic yesterday that they're finally sending a referral over to the university hospital for advancing the next step for the surgery.
Oh, which university?
The Fairview Hospital, the U of M. They don't have anyone who can do it locally, so that's the closest one.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's a serious specialty.
Yep. Although it's very encouraging because in the trans support group I'm in, I'm most likely going to be winding up with the same surgical team that a couple of people in that group had, and they just all rave about how good the surgical team was. Everyone's had a good experience with them.
That's good.
There's a number of physicians who specialize in trans sciences who want to make transgender surgeries a specialty that you need to take training and get and be credentialed in as a specialty.
I suppose that would not be a bad thing.
Well, no, I think it's a perfectly good idea. Like, you know, you have specialties like that for orthopedics, for plastic surgery, for cardiology. You know, it makes sense. If you're a specialist, be a specialist.
Yeah, Mark, on my injured hand, fortunately, the one finger that I still have full length is the index finger. So I can still hold the pen between the index finger and the thumb. Not that it really matters. My handwriting was illegible before the injury anyway, so.
Yeah, but more importantly, you can, she'll shoot the bird.
Nope, I can't do that. I can only give them 2/3 of the bird, the middle finger short. So I can only give people the finger shorthand. Okay, now to me that just sounds like a challenge.
I think Jonah Falcon is a liar. Supposedly has a 13.5-inch penis, which is possible. I've seen them like a foot long or so. 8-inch diameter, I don't think so.
No.
And if you did, there's not a woman on earth that would want to fuck you. I just can't see that.
Yeah, possibly 8-inch circumference, but even that would be pushing it.
Well, 8-inch circumference would only be 2.3 squared. 2, 3, 7, 3, 9. Whatever.
Yeah, well, roughly 1/3 of 8, so 2 and some fraction, 2.5, 2 3/4, something like that.
Well, why don't we just whip out our calculator? and figure it out. Where's my calculator? Oh, there you are. All clear. And then we're doing the square root of 8. 2.828. So 3-inch diameter.
Okay, I could see that.
2.828.
Well, I did know a guy once that when I put my hand around it, my thumb and index finger couldn't quite touch.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would think he would have to go to doing livestock because they would be the only ones able to accommodate that.
Want me to read my latest chapter to everybody? Shouldn't take more than about 15 minutes. All right, forget it.
Yeah, I think that might be a bit too much here.
These word processors are really stupid. They don't allow you to put, well, they allow you, but they always mark it as misspelled if you put diacritical marks.
Well, let's see here. As much stock as you want to put in the Daily Mail. Apparently, the guy with the largest penis that we were just talking about used weights to gain length.
All right, then.
It meant that much to him, huh? This is an insecure dude. Wow.
Well,
when there's a trans person, male to female, and they have a micro penis or something just way small, they will make them or recommend that they go through a penis enlargement procedure, which takes quite a bit of time. I don't know I'm not sure what they do for length, but they increase the diameter basically by inserting a balloon type object, and you blow it up and leave it that way for a period of time each day, a couple times a day, 3 times a day, something like that.
Yep.
And it stretches and grows.
Yeah, they can get a little bit more by stretching the skin. I have a personal theory. I've never heard of any study done on it. But I have to wonder if the adult size has to do with how much they masturbated as a teenager. That, does the extra stimulation when they're going through puberty make it larger?
Well, if that's
Probably not.
then I should have something the size of a 55-gallon drum.
What, you're only 30 gallon?
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, all I can say from personal experience is that mine was better than average. Like I say, it's just an odd theory I have. I haven't seen anybody actually address the question.
Well, what I've got is not insignificant, and unfortunately, it's a bit out of place in my current situation.
Well, the testosterone blockers have worked on that. Mine's not much anymore.
Okay, delivery from store
Speaking
today.
of, I got my new drugs finally.
What?
Oh, I finally got my progesterone, so I'm going to be starting that now.
Oh, boy.
Replacing the Spiro.
Okay, so the progesterone is supposed to be an anti-androgen?
Yeah. Hopefully, it'll help do something about the facial hair. It's supposed to be
It
a bit
won't.
more effective on that.
It won't.
My understanding is that, yeah, once you start getting that facial hair, you're cursed with it forever.
Well, even the Spiro, when it started cutting the testosterone, it did slow down the facial hair a bit.
That it will slow it down. It will not eliminate it.
Yeah, no,
won't
I know
eliminate
it's not going to eliminate it. But it would still be nice if I could go a full day without the shadow showing through.
Yeah.
Hey, Cat.
Tayo kerenda, miracles. Mutrada tapalekite.
Oh, sorry, Slothgirl's joke got separated there. Okay, that reminds me of a bad joke.
Yeah.
Well, there were these three guys who all claimed to be the world's greatest swordsman. So they finally agreed to have a competition. And the first guy gets up there, he gets ready. And the referee releases a fly from a bottle. And the guy watches the fly for a second, takes one swing, and the fly drops to the floor, cut in half. So the second guy gets up there, they release another fly, he takes two swings, and the fly falls to the floor in 4 pieces. The third guy gets up there, he releases the fly, he takes a swing, and the fly's still buzzing around. And they said, well, you're eliminated. And he said, no, I am not. True, he still flies, but he will never reproduce.
See, I don't believe that. Have you ever smelled mothballs?
Oh, I know what mothballs smell like.
How'd you get them to spread their legs?
Where do fish keep their money? In a riverbank.
Oh.
We actually have a bank here that's called Riverbank.
Well, the bank I use here is Island Bank.
Oh, well, see, you're on an island.
Well,
Well, it's not really an island, is it? Long Island is attached.
I can't remember which it is. Sometimes it looks like it's attached, and other times it doesn't.
It depends on if it's high tide or low tide, huh?
I guess.
Yeah.
Mark, that's one of the mythologies that anti-trans people like to put out on the market there. Yes, there is a risk of breast cancer, but it is negligibly larger than any other cis woman. So it's their lie, not ours.
Well, one thing that the doctors have been cautious about is that apparently there can be a higher risk of blood clots. But
yes, that's true.
Yeah, but generally that's only a problem if you have a family history of it to begin with.
Yeah, so I'm shit out of luck because I don't know my family, so I don't know my family history.
Hey, TV Tube.
What are you improving?
What?
TV Tube, what are you improving?
De you get esta.
New seasons of favorite shows, I assume. Well, he's a TV.
I wish they would get rid of goddamn fucking Bachelor or whatever that fucking show is. And Dancing with the Stars. I don't need either of those in my life.
Yeah.
and I say because I only get one network here, and that's ABC. And I'm just sick of those things wasting time.
Yeah, I've never been interested in any of those reality shows or competition things.
It's like on weekends, all there is college fucking football.
World's biggest building. What do you mean by biggest? I mean, enclosed volume or?
Yep, I guess volume. Boeing 4.2 million square feet of floor area.
I thought that Elon Melon Boy actually built his Tesla factory to be bigger than Boeing.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to do that just for the sake of that.
Hmm. Yeah, he's one of those penis wavers. South Carolina.
No, Mark, Australia qualifies as a continent. It's not just an island.
Brentwood. Where
People-
is Brentwood?
People do refer to it as an island.
Well, probably that got started from the British because, you know, they don't want to admit anyone's got a bigger country than they do.
Oh, okay. Not that far from me then.
So do we know anybody in New Brunswick or Nova Scotia?
Yes.
In our community here?
Well, not this particular group that's together today, but
Shannon's in Nova Scotia.
say again, huh?
Shannon?
Yeah, that's what I was trying. I couldn't come up with her name.
Yeah, well, Hurricane Lee's heading right up that way.
Oops.
I do know a trans woman in New Brunswick, but she doesn't seem to be active on YouTube anymore.
I knew this trans woman who had a Brunswick. It was a really nice bowling ball.
Okay, then.
We once had a guy who repainted his BMW, and he chose the color of the thing himself and just destroyed this classic model car, both in terms of its rarity and its age. So anyways, he painted it what we called Brunswick Schwarz.
Okay, then.
Because it was black and had gold fleck in it, like a bowling ball. So that's why we named it that.
Okay, here's what TV Tube was referring to about improving. I had missed this one.
What?
I test myself at least once a week by reading the Bible to see if I'm still susceptible in any way to its emotional manipulation.
Hey Tuber, did you really go through a period of time where you were still susceptible to it? That's interesting. I'd like to hear more.
Yeah, it was reading the Bible, specifically Leviticus, that put me off being Christian for the rest of my life. I could not make any way to connect the idea of a loving God and all the bullshit in Leviticus.
Yeah.
See, I never had Leviticus in my Bible. I had this really bad weekend and I ran out of toilet paper.
Well, a friend of mine from high school said that the paper made from Bibles is great for smoking joints.
Yeah, I can see that. It's thin enough. Yeah, you can do a full pager. Gotta remember when pot was so inexpensive, you could actually do that. Like Cheech and Chong came out with this album, Big Bamboo.
I remember that album.
Yeah, and it kind of looked like a pack of papers, and inside was a gigantic album-sized rolling paper.
Yes.
And people actually did it. Of course, if you didn't, nowadays that album was worth lots of money if it still has its paper.
My parents had that thing. I remember that paper.
Oh, you had hippie parents, huh?
Oh yeah.
Of course, you know what's a cruel trick to play on somebody? Replace the rolling papers with flash paper.
Why? How does it flash? How does that work?
Flash paper it's something that like you'll find at magic shops.
Yeah, I know what it
Yes.
is. How does it
Yeah.
work?
Well, basically, as soon as you put a flame to it, the entire thing just goes in a single flash.
Well, why would
So-
you do that with your toilet paper?
No, they're
No,
paper
for
for their
rolling
joints.
joints. If somebody rolled a
Oh,
joint with it.
I get it. Okay. I freely admit being stupid, okay?
That's okay. Okay, TV Tube, I'm glad it's helping you. And yeah, I still use some meditation techniques myself. They can help with the anxiety if I can manage to get myself into the right mind space.
Well, that TV, that must be really really difficult. You know, I know people really get tuned into it and stuff, but to actually feel that you're manipulated by it and it can jerk around with your feelings, that's wow. That's
Loudest
amazing.
sound to be heard in the world. Wasn't that the eruption of Krakatoa?
Yep. Krakatoa erupts August 26, 1883. The volcanic island of Krakatoa near Indonesia exploded, killing thousands in one of the biggest natural disasters.
Of
The
our
eruption
time,
is
but
reported to have reached 310 decibels, which is loud enough to be heard clearly 5,000 kilometers away, about 3,000 miles.
So, were it to have occurred in Los Angeles, you could hear it in New York, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep, across the whole continent.
I had my stomach growling once that was almost that loud. I believe there was an ancient pre-humans caldera that exploded that they estimate would have been much louder and much bigger of a boom than Krakatoa.
Yeah, as far as hippie parents, it's when I was with my ex, we were open about everything. So the girls knew that their mother smoked pot, and we were like, that when you're old enough, just do it at home. Don't do it with anyone you don't trust. So, since we were open about everything, our oldest daughter, when she went through the teenage rebellion phase, the only thing she could do to rebel was become a Republican. Well, that lasted about 6 months until she came out as lesbian and realized that the two were incompatible.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that the log cabin, whatever a society or whatever they call themselves exists. It's just completely antithemic to me.
Actually, the log cabin Republicans have pretty much left the party, mostly because they said that, they can't deal with the MAGA bullshit.
Yeah.
So it took them this long to actually realize that everybody else on the planet was telling the truth.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, it took the Republicans pushing an openly fascist candidate, yeah.
Hey, Cat, do you like to be called Cat or Diecast or Cat Diecast or Diecast Cat? No, it's. Anyways, my parents did not smoke in the 60s. I did, so.
I didn't really smoke myself, but I hung around people who did. Like I say, the stuff never had much effect on me, so I just, I never got the thrill out of it. Excuse me.
Well, I would recommend that you take a handful of gummy bears, infiltrated gummy bears, and chow them all down all at once. See how that goes.
I'm gonna have to buy some gummies.
Do not do that.
No, I
Do
know.
not. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to buy some gummies with the THC and see if those work.
Yeah,
Mostly,
I would
I'm still looking for things that would help me sleep.
start with a quarter of a gummy.
Okay,
Right,
Kat,
right.
how do you get Wex Top?
I'd like some cash so I could actually afford to buy some of the stuff because I could really use the pain relief.
Oh, okay, Hector. So Hector or Cat?
So who's going to buy me a new iPhone 15?
I don't have enough to buy one for me.
Well, I come first.
Oh,
Yeah. I wouldn't waste the money on one even if I had enough to buy one for myself.
I have not heard the price, but I believe they're over 1,000.
what, over $1,000 to buy one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I don't understand what would make it worth that much.
well, that's the rate they've been running at for like the last 10 years. They've been 800 to 1,000 for each new one that came out.
They're that way, Diana, because they're very, 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 very good. And they're the number one cell phone in America. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
There's a reason.
My Android is just fine for me.
Yeah. Well, that's I don't use it for most of the fancy stuff, so I can keep going with primitive phones. Every time I bought a discontinued or refurbished ones, so I've never paid more than $30 for a phone.
I've only bought one phone new, and that was because my sister-in-law gave it to me as a gift. Everything else I've ever bought has been used.
Yep. Actually, the last phone I bought to replace the one I had from Michigan is an iPhone 6. It's not an actual iPhone. It's an Android clone of an iPhone 6.
I had a 6. That was a fairly nice little device.
Did I say something nice?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay, good. I was hoping I wouldn't break my record.
Mark, you should really consider it because the iPhone and the iPad and stuff melds together into one. Okay, it's like your phone will automatically send shit. You say pictures, you want to back up your pictures, it will automatically send them to the iPad, and you won't even know it's happening. And next time you go on the iPad, you go, "Oh, there's a picture I took yesterday," or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, Cat, I recognize the character from the cartoon series.
I'm not sure if I'd want my. Yeah, I recognize the cat too.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Heathcliff.
yeah.
And the Cadillac Cats.
Yeah, the Cadillac Cats was the second half of the Heathcliff thing in an 80s cartoon show.
Hey, can we?
Probably-
I have something completely off subject. Could we all take a moment and think about the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers?
What am I thinking about? I don't know this. I've seen the pictures. I don't know what the hell the story is about.
Well, he signed a contract for $75 million, and he played less than 2 minutes of a game, and now he's out for the season.
Huh.
And as a Packer person, we're particularly happy with that.
Okay.
Okay,
And-
$75 million for 2 minutes. This has got to be a record for the highest, pay per hour thing that's ever been, huh?
Yeah, that's not per year. I think that's the total contract value.
Okay.
I think. Ugh. Yeah, it is sad though that he ruptured his Achilles tendon, and that's very, very difficult to deal with and heal. It'll take at least a year to heal.
Okay, Slothgirl needs to know how many innings are there in football.
9.
Well, wait a minute. Are you speaking German that they don't have any?
Huh? What?
Cat Diecast, did you do that drawing of your avatar yourself?
Oh God, I'm in pain.
I'm in Minnesota.
Gente Bala Costo. Bush.
Yep, Ancha remembers the series.
Yeah,
Okay, Greg says 6.
I could probably still sing most of the song too.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Heathcliff, Heathcliff, no one should terrify the neighborhood.
Let me get a
Heathcliff will be
living
on
egg
top.
thing.
No, I can't remember the rest of it now off the top of my head.
I'm Tom.
Considering I haven't seen the thing in about 20 years, that's I guess not too bad.
I'm Tom Terrific, the greatest hero ever. Blah 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 blah. Who remembers that?
Tom Terrific?
Mm-hmm.
Never saw it.
Yeah, he wore a kitchen funnel on his head.
Yeah, I barely remember that one.
And who remembers Top Cat?
I do
and Huckleberry Hound.
Yep, I remember Top Cat.
I do know those.
Huckleberry Hound was a handsome blue dog coming up your sidewalk. It's a pretty cool avatar.
Okay, the biggest tree is known as General Sherman. It's even bigger still, standing 275 feet tall and 36 feet wide. The staggering colossus holds the record for the biggest living tree by volume.
And it was threatened by some recent wildfires in California. Well, last year, I believe it was. But it didn't get that far. They saved the redwoods.
Yep.
Though I'm pretty sure Rif Raff's girlfriend Cleo launched a few furries.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh God! Ow!
Okay,
now, where is this Rif Raff from?
He's the he's the leader of the Cadillac Cats in Heathcliff.
Well, I remember a Rif Raff from Underdog.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna mention.
Yeah.
Was it the same Rif Raff?
No, I'm sure the name's been reused by a number of things.
The Underdog Rif Raff looked like he had 2 black eyes.
Well, he looked pretty much like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Mage was doing the Heathcliff theme. Okay, I didn't know about redwoods. I know that certain types of pines, the cones will only open and release their seeds during a forest fire, that the cones won't open until they're heated to more than 400 degrees.
Redwoods will sprout shoots from its base that can be transplanted and stuff. There are also some redwoods that have actually grown a complete tree on the end of one of their branches. If you can imagine that.
Yeah, I'm sure that Maid Marian from Disney's Robin Hood inspired a lot of furries.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, actually, Rif Raff from Rocky Horror kind of had the same feel as the cartoon Rif Raff from Underdog. He had the kind of bald look and pointy nose and hunched over a bit, and
Yep.
oh, so Rif Raff of that cartoon is a big fake. All right, we got it. Boy, I'm watching this America's Test Kitchen. All the food on there makes me want to go have a cup of noodles.
Oh God.
There. That's Rif Raff from the Cadillac Cats.
Oh, that's definitely
Where?
not Rif Raff.
Oh, there. Okay.
Okay, he was the little short one.
Yeah, and
I
Cat
kind
died.
of remember him, but I don't remember which one was which.
Yeah.
Why is he wearing that stupid hat and scarf? Huh?
Looks like a pumpkin.
It's just his style.
Yeah, and Hector usually was the lancer of the group.
Jackfruit is the biggest fruit. Each can be 2 feet long and weigh 120 pounds.
Yep.
Wow.
Can you grow them down there?
Yes, I can.
Well, why aren't you?
They grow on trees.
Well, plant a tree.
I have limited space, and I'd rather not have,
Yeah.
have a tree that I'd have to walk under that has a 100-pound fruit growing on it.
Burn down your neighbor's house and take their yard for the tree.
Fire is essential for some plant life to reproduce. Here in Australia, there are native plants that won't reproduce without having survived a wildfire. Yep.
You know, that, as I understand it, the Aborigines of Australia, and I use that word because that's what somebody told me, and I don't know what's any official thing. And nowadays, probably Native Australians or something like that. Anyway, that they actually have historically done fire starting and things like that, similar to some tribes of American Indians. Native Americans. God.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Some Native American tribes practice controlled burns.
Mm-hmm. I think mostly Plains Indian or Plains people.
Yeah, well, actually doing a controlled burn is a good way to prepare a field for planting crops.
We do controlled burns around here for all the prairie grasses and stuff that they've brought back.
Yep. Well, one thing is it gets rid of most of the weeds, and the other thing is that the ash left behind is actually good fertilizer.
Kiss my ash.
Yeah. So if they burn a section of the prairie, then it's very good soil for planting.
Oh God.
You know, you look at all these silly furries and stuff that people like to draw and pretend with. You know, it's like dolls for adult children. And you think about it for a minute. Okay, how would this creature actually exist with the body of a human and the head of a wolf? You know? Are you going to make yourself hamburgers? Are you going to harvest vegetables? What? Or are you just going to chase down some cats and eat them?
Nah, no cats.
Okay, Mark, you're gonna have to explain what you mean by black boys. But yeah, people have said that thing that if you're on the internet, somebody has masturbated to you.
Yeah, I've heard
And at first I was thinking that, well, I'm safe because I only have the avatar. But then I realized that, yeah, with the furry community, the full body avatar of an anthropomorphic dinosaur, yeah, somebody's probably masturbated to that.
Yeah.
I've picked up on another chaser. This guy does not have any kind of sense of tactfulness. It's just not there. One of his, let's see, second or third note, he was already starting to talk about wanting to have sex with a trans woman but I'm not, but it's not like a compulsion or I'm not kinky. Yes, you are.
Well, Cat is right, that there are carvings of anthropomorphic, people, animals that, well, I mean, they're in the pyramids of Egypt and they're in some of the South American pyramids. So, yeah, they definitely go back, probably as far back as we have, any recorded human artwork. Black boys are native plants that need to be burned to reproduce. Okay.
I've never heard that. That's
Yeah,
probably one of those words that comes because you eat kangaroo meat.
Yeah. I hadn't heard it either. That's why I needed to explain. So it's apparently just an Australian term. But yeah, most of the Egyptian gods were humans with animal heads.
When you eat kangaroo meat, do you get jumpy? Thank you, Mage. What's a furry lifestyler? I'm completely ignorant to this.
I'm guessing it would be somebody who wears the fur suit.
furry lifestyle.
Well, I know that they have furry conventions, where these people get together, in their fursuits.
Yeah, I remember when the St. Louis baseball team and the National Furry Convention were in Pittsburgh at the same time. And yeah. What the heck is his name? The baseball catcher who became an announcer.
Bob Uecker.
Yeah, thank you. Uecker was doing a thing on that.
Mr. Baseball.
Yep.
I actually had lunch with him.
Really?
He's from Milwaukee, and I used to go to this place. God, what was it? Stupid name. It's just this small cafe that charged for shit. But it was real popular for people to go, shishi suburbanites and stuff for lunch. And I was a shishi suburbanite, so that's where I went. And I was with a party of 4 people. 2 of them were older adults, parents of the person I was with, and they knew him. And he comes in and has lunch. He was a regular there, and they said, "Oh, Bob, come on over." And they sat at our table, and we had lunch. And so I had lunch with Bob Uecker.
Nice.
He doesn't remember me at all. I guarantee it, but it still happened.
Made your day, didn't it?
Yeah, it did actually. He's kind of cool. He's very funny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mark Caesar, this is horrible. Kangaroo goes well with beer. It's the hops.
Oh, that's bad. That's just
Yeah,
really bad.
that is really a high caliber dad joke.
I'm gonna have to steal this one.
Yeah, actually, I'd be interested in understanding more about the furry lifestyle. Just because I like to try and understand everybody to some degree, and that is an area I know very little about.
Oh, stop it. You want to dress up as Bambi.
I know a little bit about it, but
No, but I know a way to be really popular. Go to a furry convention dressed as Red Riding Hood. You'll have wolves all over you.
I think you should try because you're a tall and thin person. I think you could pull off a Bugs Bunny in drag furry. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I couldn't really do the character. I'd have to find something that that I'm better with the character. Yeah, well, I hear that that kangaroo meat is actually rather stringy.
They should domesticate kangaroos. Fatten them up with corn and all that shit.
aren't they usually considered a pest over there?
Well, they go through basically boom and bust population cycles depending on what the weather has been like and how well the plants they feed on have been growing. So their population will actually suddenly explode to unmanageable levels, and then the next season many of them will starve to death. So I mean it's a pretty hideous cycle really, but that's nature.
They're pests there like deer are pests here.
Yeah, they do cause some problems for the farmers and ranchers, mostly because they compete with the same kind of stuff that the sheep need.
And skydivers, it's a problem for skydivers.
Yeah, except
Yes.
There's one thing that sheep need that deer don't, and that's some good loving. I'm sorry, I'm entertaining myself today. Have you noticed?
My dad was friends with this guy who was saying from the land where men are men and sheep are scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yup. Ooh,
Okay,
Tibetan Mastiffs. Those are scary dogs.
But would sheep be more afraid of an Australian or a Welshman?
Yes.
Well, sheep are big in both places. But I imagine that the Aussies are more used to getting hot. Get it? Australia hot. Wales isn't. That's. What?
Okay, I don't know who this person is.
My ideal age for what?
Yeah.
How, where, when? I did.
Well, and this question is more suspect. Where do you get off? Yeah.
Where do I get off?
Yeah, I think this person needs to explain themselves a bit before just coming in and asking questions like that.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's all about.
Now, Mark, we all know Australia doesn't exist, and New Zealand is just Australia's imaginary friend.
I had a favorite teacher in middle school.
I had a couple very memorable ones.
Middle school.
6th, 7th, 8th.
I don't know that I had a favorite teacher in middle school. A favorite teacher in high school? Yes.
Yeah, actually, mine are more favorite teachers from before middle school. Excuse me.
Can you name all your teachers in elementary, middle, and high school?
Oh, hell no.
I wouldn't even want to bother, but there's a few that stand out. And not surprising, the ones that stand out are all math and science teachers.
I know that feeling. Yes.
In fact, in my freshman year of high school, I got into an honors biology course, which freshmen weren't supposed to be allowed into. But I got into that because of a glowing recommendation from my 5th grade science teacher.
Nice.
Come on, kid, let's do some biology.
Okay, Kat, bye-bye.
Harold Wade Swally, math, all throughout high school, got me interested in the computer sciences. And I've carried that with me all these years. And Robert G. Lindsay, also known as Doc, got me interested in history and politics. That was all through high school as well.
Probably best not to highlight that person for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, Lindsay. Oh, man, I tell you, Doc Lindsay was an amazing guy.
Yeah.
He was instrumental in teaching me how to think.
Oh, Slothgirl, that big Jake, that was the one that had like biceps that are 18 inches or something like that?
Yep. 6 foot 10 inches tall and weighing 209 pounds.
Well, that's as much as Trump.
Yeah.
Who does that guy? How stupid is he? Who does he think he's fooling with that kind of shit?
Well, yeah, the stupidest people do think they are the most brilliant.
So nobody knew who Shredded Ham was?
Huh? What?
Shredded Ham was just a real life troll?
Looks like it.
You
Yeah.
get those from time to time.
I haven't had many trolls come in here, so I'm not quite used to him. I just timed him out. He'll be back in 5 minutes, and we'll see if he behaves any better.
Well, remember the trouble they get you into if they paste some kind of link that can make your whole thing go crazy.
Well, they can't paste the link unless they get moderator status.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not going to make somebody a moderator unless they've been hanging around for at least several months and I've seen what they're saying.
You never made me a moderator.
Really? Post something in the side. That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. I can't make you a moderator unless you post in the side chat.
You mean the audience?
Yep. Hey, Demon Orb.
Yeah, Molly's here, sitting here trying to weave herself between my legs, getting pets.
Yeah, Mark, I had some teachers like that too. But, yeah, back when I was in school, they didn't know anything about Tourette's or autism. So instead of realizing that I was just taking the instructions way too literally, they decided I was a classic underachiever and just wrote me off for several years. But that's why I did well with math and science, because these were things that step by step you could verify everything.
And what the Tourette's got you labeled as a troublemaker?
Yeah. Yeah, for making disruptive noises during class.
My
and when
favorite
I said I couldn't help it, nobody believed me.
My favorite teacher was Mrs. Kramer, who was this rather large, unbelievably jovial mom who was my English teacher. And she was the first teacher who actually noticed that I knew how to write and kind of helped to foster it. It was only 8th grade, so it's not like it was this gigantic achievement or anything, but it gave me the impetus to think about the possibility that I could write. I didn't actually start to write formally for another 20 years or so, but she got me going, where I was at least doing stuff for myself, practice. And then my worst teacher was Ronald Simpson, who was also an English teacher for 9th grade, who took a hating to me on day one, and it was absolute hell for the entire year. I mean, I got A's in English, okay, and this guy gave me a D. It's like, what? Pissed off my parents pretty bad.
They blamed you, of course, right?
No, they didn't.
Oh.
They went in and met him at a teacher parent conference, and they came back and said, "We understand. He's a prick."
Okay, then. Well, that was a good thing. At least they understood.
Yeah, actually, the only science teacher I had that I had a problem with was in high school for physics and chemistry. That one of his axioms he kept saying was that, there are no angles in nature. There are just straight lines and curves. So after he had said this umpteen times,
fuck.
I went up to him after class, so it wasn't even doing it publicly. And I said, "Well, what about crystals?" And he took a second and said, "Yeah, you're right," and gave me D's the rest of the year. Just because I had proven him wrong, regardless of how much extra credit work I did.
I think I would have done that in front of the whole class.
Yeah, well, I also was on his short list because I said, what was a school that was so badly underfunded? What did they need with a golf team? And his son was on the golf team.
I remember one math teacher I had that I almost walked out of her class. Well, she was berating the whole class as for not doing as well as the genius class was doing.
Yeah. The teacher that really got me started with writing, and unfortunately I don't remember her name, but was my 6th grade English teacher, because one of her standing assignments was that everybody had to do a short story every week.
Oy vey.
And, well, the thing that I really enjoy doing is like writing backstories for like background characters that nobody pays any attention to. So she just really liked my writing style in spite of all the grammar and spelling mistakes. So, she was the only one that I was getting like steady encouragement from the whole year.
Mark Caesar, to answer yours question, yes, I have been published. I was a monthly columnist in a magazine for 17 years, and I've written one book, but it's a technical manual, so it's not really interesting unless you're into technical manuals.
There are those people.
Yeah, they are. I'm one of them. a weird thing.
Actually, one of the group I hung out with in high school was just the kids that were too weird to fit into any other clique. And one of the kids we had in there, he read aircraft technical manuals as recreation.
My Uncle Tom used to give me all kinds of professional level aeronautical magazines and stuff when I was a kid. He was in the Air Force, and I read them voraciously. I just loved it. He had me memorizing every rocket and missile the United States built. Completely useless information, but fascinating at the time. But this was, to keep it in perspective, this was also in Wally Sharon, John Glenn days. So all of this stuff was like new and space age, radical, cool stuff.
That makes sense.
Actually,
it's like, ooh, we got a phone that has a dial tone, not a party line.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Actually, Mark, my problem has always been keeping things to the maximum size. Whenever I started writing stories or term papers, I always wound up being like pages and pages beyond what they said the maximum size was, and trying to have to edit them down.
I was a bad kid in one of my classes once. Driver's ed, which is just a class for fucking around anyways. And the teacher was Dave Mayberry, the assistant coach of the football team. And he was one of those real classic jock dudes, that had no neck, just a head that went all the way down to his shoulders. He was a nice guy, but he was just, your classic jock, and he didn't take much shit. And so I gave him shit, and he gave it right back and made me do a 500-word essay. And this is just arduous as fuck. At that age, I didn't think I knew 500 words total. And it was just real miserable. And I found a way to. He assigned the subject was the proper use of bright high beams when you're driving at night or in the fog. So I had a subject I had to cover, and I did, and I found a way to do it in a very snarky, satirical way. And he accepted it as the agreed punishment, but he really hated it. Oh, it was so much fun.
I remember writing a report on ferrets in high school, and I got special permission to bring my pet ferret into class that day. So while I'm doing the report, I have the ferret running around the classroom.
You let him loose in the classroom?
Yeah.
Okay,
we made sure all the doors were closed off. There was no carpeting in this particular classroom, so just let him run around.
Cool.
I'm just surprised they let him loose and weren't worried about him biting one of the students.
No, he was completely the worst. That ferret would have done would have been lick somebody to death.
Well, you knew that, but thought some other people would have been worried about it.
It was a small classroom too. It was only maybe about a dozen people.
Hey, if there's anybody out there who's like under 30, under 25, when I was a kid in high school, and there sometimes an English teacher would kind of have a bit on public speaking, and so they'd kind of do an adult level show and tell. And you bring something in from home, something significant, and you talk about it, like knowing about it and stuff. And we had people who could bring in their 30-30 rifles stuff.
Jeez.
Because nobody ever did that kind of stuff then.
Well,
it was just safe to do that.
Yeah, if you're in a kind of rural area where deer hunting is a common hobby.
Yeah, except this is a city of Milwaukee. But it was just, things were safe then. It's weird, isn't it?
I hate that word.
Weird?
Safe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I always go back to the Hitchhiker's Guide. This is obviously a new meaning of the word safe, of which I was previously unaware.
Mhm.
What do you got eaten there?
Salami sandwich.
Um, uh, Slothgirl, did your favorite teacher make keyboards?
I was wondering about that too, but it kind of ran past me. When I had my Commodore 64, I had hacked the operating system and I had reconfigured the keyboard to be a Dvorak. Unfortunately, then at work, I had to deal with the standard QWERTY keyboard, and switching back and forth between the two every day was just too confusing, so I had to give it up.
Yeah, the
But
Dvorak
actually,
key court really flopped.
well, actually, when I had the Dvorak keyboard, after I practiced with it for about a month, I had basically doubled my typing speed.
I doubled my typing speed by moving faster. Of course, the spelling went down the tubes, but you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the QWERTY keyboard is actually designed to slow you down.
yes. Although I've got a better thing. If they wanted to slow people down, they should just hacked off a couple of fingers, because you know,
Aren't there
only having one finger left on the right hand has really slowed down my typing.
Mm.
aren't there like people who can type 200 words a minute kind of stuff?
That ain't me.
No, not me either. I'm a
I'm not sure what the
three maybe four finger typist,
yeah, I'm not sure what the world record was. Even
and
when I had
sometimes I use my thumb.
both hands, I typed about 35, 40 words a minute, which is kind of, the low end minimum for what most office jobs required.
Yeah, I wanted to be a secretary. I'm glad I got smarter than that though.
Yeah. I actually thought I wanted to be a purchasing clerk.
Hey, BD2P, what does that stand for? BD2P.
Oh my.
I mean, I can think of some snarky grade school stuff, but
Okay, the current world record for typing speed is 212 words a minute by
wow.
English language typist Brenda Blackburn, who reached a peak typing speed of 212 words a minute during a test in 2005 using a Dvorak keyboard. Yeah, the average words per minute speed is 41.1 words. So I guess I was closer to the average before than I realized.
See, I never took a typing class of any sort. My mom just picked up an antique 1927 Underwood typewriter, and I just sat down and just started typing. At the beginning, I was only using one finger on each hand, and spending quite some time between strokes to find the letter. But I've never tested myself for how many words per minute, because I cannot. The one thing I absolutely cannot do in typing is to read something and type it.
Yeah.
I just can't do that.
I never got a typing class in school either. I kept signing up for it every semester, and every semester my guidance counselor took it off my schedule. And he kept saying, "What do you need typing for? That's a girls' course."
No, I thought that was going to be what it was.
And if I ever find this man, I will strangle him with a keyboard cable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, be sure you're wearing a dress when you do it.
Yeah, well, see, so he was wrong. He was wrong on two levels. He was wrong twice because, yeah, I'm a girl, but also in this day and age, everybody needs to know how to type.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that something? I mean, it was actually considered rare when I was in high school that that you knew somebody who typed. I mean, there were typing classes, and they each had 25 or 30 students, maybe 35.
Yeah.
And there was like maybe 6 of them a day. But so you got 180 girls who are taking typing in a school population of 3,100. So it's like really tiny.
Yeah, well, it was considered a specific career skill in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
That basically you only took typing if you were trying to go into being a secretary or something.
And then, of course, home ec, which was the other girls' specialty thing that they didn't want boys to go into.
Yeah, in middle school, I was involved in what our school district termed a progressive experiment, that all the boys took 1 semester home ec and all the girls took 1 semester of shop.
I took home ec in middle school.
Yeah. My problem with the home ec was that the stuff was just way too easy. It was stuff that I had been, like doing since I was like 10 years old. I just hung out with my sisters, so I learned to do the sewing and cooking.
I remember in last day of school when a friend of mine and I were had this spicy dip for chips. And he was challenging us. Don't drink any water or while eating these throughout the entire class. Like, okay. And his mouth was on fire, and I came back at the end of the class like, completely fine. And he was like, "How did you do that?"
Well,
Well,
they say don't drink any water, and water doesn't really help.
Yeah, the one rule was we weren't to drink any water during the class.
Yep.
He didn't say anything about eating chips that didn't have any of the salsa on it.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, that if you've got something too spicy on your tongue, you just want to eat some bland bread product like the chips or crackers.
Yeah, so
Because that'll actually absorb the oils off your tongue and pull the spice away.
yeah, so
Milk does a much better job.
Yeah, so every few chips, I just eat a plain one without anything on it.
Yep.
And I was perfectly fine by the end of the class, and he's saying his mouth is on fire because he kept eating every single chip of the stuff on it.
Yeah, Mark, I have wondered about this as the speech to text things get better. If they're going to phase out keyboards, that you're just going to be talking to your devices.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that at some point they'll stop including keyboards in the software.
That'd be very annoying, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I would hate it. Even with typing slow, I don't like having the voice activated devices. I've got all that shut off on my phone.
Then again, come think of it, I suppose they wouldn't be able to, damn it, what she's barking about. Wouldn't be able to do that because there are some people who can't speak.
True.
They'd still need to have that in the handicap section.
Well, the bigger problem I have with it is like when you're in a public place and there are several people trying to use their voice activated devices. So it's like you've got the background noise, you've got several voices going at once, and it's like, I really don't need to hear what everyone else is doing.
You mean like when people are on TV and they say, "Alexa, order a pizza," and pizza sales go up around the country.
Alexa, pull up porn.
Well, with my late fiance, one of her cats she named Sophia. So when we watched Golden Girls, she would always get confused when the TV said her name.
Yeah, I had a dog named Mulder. That's fun during X-Files. It was my non-barking dog.
Yeah, probably, Mark. I mean, I've shut off the microphone permissions to just about everything, but I don't necessarily trust that they work on some things. So I would not be surprised if one of them is trying to listen. That's also why when I'm not using it, I physically unplug my camera.
Hold on. Is Diana okay?
Yeah, she's just doing her usual suffering.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with her because she makes a lot of moaning and screaming noises all the time now. I think that was a yep, so I think she's saying she's okay.
Let's see, we got Cockatoo orders snacks using Alexa, and the African Grey who turns on and off the lights with Alexa.
Oh. Do you make fried rice?
Me?
Yeah, any of you?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I do occasionally.
How do you do it?
Well, first of all, you have to cook the rice at least the day before. You can't use fresh
Oh,
rice. It's got to
okay.
have sat overnight.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah, the rice has to
I-
have a chance to get slightly dehydrated.
I never knew that until I was watching America's Test Kitchen here.
Yep.
Well, I don't mind if you do it like in the morning, you cook the rice, and then in the afternoon when you're doing like dinner, it works pretty okay that way.
Yeah, I always do it at least the day before and let it sit in the fridge overnight.
I love fried rice. Oh God.
Yeah, sometimes I have problems getting the level of seasoning right for Slothgirl.
I haven't made fried rice in a while though. Come think of it. I just had regular rice. I had black beans and rice. It was in a package, and I just cooked it up and added some cheese to it. That was pretty good.
Doc, you really need the phone to tell you that? I'm just asking questions here. Diana sounds like they're saying help.
Oh, that wasn't what I was making it as.
Oh, what fried rice with a fried egg and scallions. Oh.
Yep. Yeah, I got lucky. I found a really nice big wok at the thrift store. It was still in its original box for only $25.
Oh, cool.
Well, there was a Chinese place around here that got closed down because they were substituting the beef for cat.
Oh,
You know,
really?
that's one of those urban myths. You know,
Yeah.
show me the paperwork. I don't believe it.
No, this place legit got shut down for it. They actually found dogs and cats in the freezer.
Well, okay, then that's pretty much a guarantee. But everyone I've ever known in whatever city they're from seems to have some Asian restaurant that supposedly has cat, or Mexican residence has cat. You know, and it just sounds like such a racist piece of bullshit. You know.
Mm.
Yes, Mark's right about this. Make sure you've got everything chopped up before you turn the wok on. Because once you get started, you need to make sure you add everything at the right time.
Yeah.
You know, the harder the vegetables are, the sooner they go in. The softer vegetables you put in last.
I used to go to this Chinese restaurant back home, and I used to just love ordering something and watching him cook it. He had this wok that was like 3 feet in diameter.
Yep.
And just tipping it up, and that's amazing how fast he can do what he does.
Well, actually, that does kind of depend on how much you're making, because sometimes what I would do is I'll throw in the harder stuff in first, and while that's cooking, I'll chop up the softer stuff, and it times out pretty evenly that way.
Slothgirl.
Well, as long as you're sure about how long it takes you to do the chopping.
Yeah.
I use I don't own a wok. I use my cast iron cookware as a wok for my wok type stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I use. I use a wide frying pan, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, yeah, those are kind of racist slurs. So
Oh, Slothgirl, stop it!
Chow mein.
I knew it. Sorry, I gotta find something here. Go on, continue without me for a moment.
Did y'all hear about that cruise ship that got stuck up in Alaska?
No.
I haven't heard about that one.
It ran aground and it is stuck, and the closest aid is 1,000 miles away. They're going to be there a while.
Yep.
Well, at least the cruise ship is pretty well self-contained, so they've got enough food and everything on board for the people.
Yeah.
Maybe. maybe they have 500 people and enough food for 7 days, but now they're going to be there for 21 days.
Yeah, well, so they just return with a few less passengers and everybody's still well fed.
Well, okay, I suppose. As long as they have a qualified butcher or doctor.
Same thing.
I kind of see. Most cruise ships can go about 10 days without hitting any port for supplies.
Well, it does all depend how long a cruise they were expecting to have and how much food they would have loaded on board.
Yeah, that's true. And how far into the cruise they were in.
Yeah.
I have to excuse myself for a bit here.
10 days. Another one says, 12
Yep.
days. So maybe figure about 2 weeks.
Yeah, Weird Al did a parody song about this to the tune of Cats in the Cradle. There's a cat in the kettle at the Peking moon, the place I eat every day at noon. They could serve you cat and you never know when they wrap it up real nice in dough. Yep. I think fried rice is another one. Yeah. Sorry, having trouble with the words now. Like chop suey, that was largely done to use up leftovers. Actually, chop suey was an interesting dish because that came from when they were building the Transcontinental Railway, and they had largely Irish immigrants that were building it, and then they started bringing in Chinese immigrants. So the Chinese had the best cooks, but what the Chinese cooks would do is make sure all of their people were fed first, and then they would chop up the scrap and garbage and they would feed it to the Italians. And that's where chop suey came from. Or not the Italians, the Irish. So, yeah, to the Chinese, chop suey was a big joke they were playing on the Irish, that they were getting them to eat their garbage. I wouldn't be surprised if fried rice came up in a similar way, that it was just kind of, using up all the leftovers they had around before things went bad.
Okay, these are getting me hungry for rice. Maybe I'll make some more rice tonight.
Yeah, I'd actually been thinking making some. Slothgirl says you can freeze cooked rice. I've never tried that. I don't know if that would change the texture.
Yeah, maybe I'll make some rice, steam up some of the yard-long beans, and maybe have an egg with it.
Yep.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, rice is a great budget food. You can get it cheap and it's quite filling. So if you don't have a lot of money, it's a good thing to just, have a big dish of rice with a bit of something on top of it for more flavor.
Yeah, I get the package of the Vigo rice. I don't know if you've ever seen those in.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Yeah, I got the black beans and rice. I got the coconut ginger one. I think I have fill up a little half cup of the black beans and rice. Put that in my rice cooker for tonight, along with the egg and the yard-long beans. It sounds
Yeah.
like a good dinner.
Yeah, you always have to put some egg in with the fried rice. Actually, Slothgirl likes hers extra eggy, so I tend to throw 1 or 2 extra eggs into it.
For freezing rice, what I do is I have like those gallon size Ziploc bags,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it in that so that it can be, get it freezing and be thin. Because if it's in one big lump, it takes forever to thaw.
Yep, that makes sense. I do that too with just hamburger meat that, I'll brown a couple of pounds ahead of time. And I'll put it in the plastic bags like that and lay it flat, but mostly that's just so if it's flat, it stacks easily in the freezer.
Don't think I'll do fried rice though tonight.
Yeah, I've been thinking of doing some, but it takes a bit of time, so I haven't got around to it. And I'd have to still go and get a couple more things like some fresh mushrooms.
On TV, they're at a furry convention, except it's food instead of furries.
So it's a food convention.
Well, guys dress as a pickle, somebody else is a pierogi. It's kind of diverse. Very interesting.
Actually, that's the line I've used a lot, is when somebody talks about role play, I ask if I can be a croissant.
So can you?
So it's a sausage party cosplay?
I really don't know. I'm not really paying attention. It's just there in the background right now.
Yeah. Sounds kind of odd, but I kind of get it. I mean, how many food products.
Okay. It looks like it's a pierogi festival, and a town that has lots of different types of pierogies, from taco and pizza and sweet pierogies and Chinese pierogies and interesting. A pierogi festival in Whiting, Indiana.
Yeah,
that figures.
Yep, Slothgirl loves pierogies. Yeah, well, I kind of get the thing of dressing as food. I mean, how many brands of food, have mascots like that? Which I always felt kind of strange that, they have like talking food, because isn't that your mascot saying "eat me"?
The weirdest one. Yes, you're right. And the weirdest one of that is oh shit, some cereal.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yep, that's it. And they eat each other. The cannibals.
They're cannibals.
Yep. That's bizarre.
I was just thinking of that one as you were mentioning it.
Well, and McDonald's has never explained what happened to Big Mac and Mayor McCheese. So did Hamburglar just manage to take them out one by one?
It tasted good.
Yep.
Oh, they have a marching toilet plunger brigade. They're juggling toilet plungers and things.
Why not?
You ever see the epic rap battle between Ronald McDonald and Burger King?
No.
That's a pretty good one.
The what?
Epic Rap Battle of History. It's a channel on YouTube, and they do all these rap battles between different characters, and they did one of Ronald McDonald versus his Burger King.
That Burger King mascot gives me the creeps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and especially when they do weird things like this guy wakes up in bed and he's laying there next to him.
Oh no,
it's like,
really?
Yeah.
yeah, you never saw that commercial?
No, I'm
Yeah,
glad I
that was
didn't.
for the Burger King breakfast.
Yeah, that's the creepiness of the Burger King is the reason why they stopped using the mascot.
Yeah.
Burger King really isn't doing very well.
Burger King has always had problems with their promotional campaigns. They have never done well with commercials.
I've seen a lot of Burger Kings actually close and get torn down.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of buildings that obviously were Burger Kings that are now something else.
Hardee's is another one.
Hey, Spooky.
They just never got popular, but they're one of my favorite fast foods. Low end fast foods.
Never had a Hardee's around here.
Oh yeah, Slothgirl loves Hardee's. We go there a lot after her treatments.
The best thing I have ever had at Hardee's was one of their breakfast sandwiches. It was on a biscuit, which was perfectly crispy and tender on the inside, and it was egg and bologna. It was very, very good.
Yeah, the thing I'll give to Hardee's is that, their burgers are really satisfying. That you get a big burger that actually does fill you up.
My favorite fast food, high-end fast food, is Culver's. Nothing comes close.
My favorite burger place was Fuddruckers. An interesting thing about Fuddruckers is they had, as you walk in, they had this one little area where you actually could see into the freezer.
Ah.
And they had it in a way where if you didn't want to look at the meat in the freezer, you didn't have to, but it was kind of interesting to have that there. And you pick your own toppings. So it was like a kind of a buffet style thing with the toppings for the burgers. So you get your burger and you pay extra for cheese and bacon if you wanted it, and then you went around and put whatever toppings on after that along with it.
Yeah, I think I was only in a Fuddruckers once. They were never that many of them around.
Really good burgers, though.
I like the Arby's classic roast beef. Unfortunately, I'm mad at Arby's because they stopped having the potato cakes.
Pierogi.
Oh, here's a good epic rap battle. Oh, you should check out Sir Isaac Newton versus Bill Nye.
Slothgirl said the funniest thing I ever saw was a burned down KFC. I imagined a rooster with a flamethrower. You killed my wife. You killed my kids. Meet my little friend.
Yeah, I can see that. You see a rooster standing there with a flamethrower next to it. You see nothing.
I can't believe how much chicken places charge for their chicken.
Yeah, they've gone up quite a lot now.
It's like $1.50, $2 some places for a undersized drumstick.
Every place is too expensive these days.
Yeah, the funniest thing I ever saw on that order was the Target in Roseville. That they tore down the entire building. They were going to build a newer, larger one. But for about a year, all there was the huge Target sign and a crater full of debris in the ground. And, isn't that the obvious outcome of something you name Target?
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Okay. We've been going over 2 hours. I think I need to wrap this up here for today.
Fine. Means I got to go back to work.
Well, wait a minute. If you can talk Mage into continuing to run it, I can leave and you people can keep going. That's up to
No.
Mage, though.
Nope, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
$40 for an 8-piece with biscuits. Holy shit!
Oh,
I mean, when you could buy a whole bucket.
yeah.
You know, a 10-inch, 12-inch tall bucket. You know, that for filled and with a couple pounds of fries for $10.
Yep.
Yeah, screw that mount. God damn.
Yeah, Mage. Next week, I either need you to run the show or we're not going to have one because, unfortunately, I have to take Slothgirl in for a CT scan.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I won't be around Wednesday afternoon then.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, I just got to get her to her appointment. If a car hits the target, do you draw a bullseye around where it hit? Sure, why not?
No, but if you see an electric car parked alone in a parking lot, and you paint white lines around it, it can't move.
Oh, like a cat?
No, like a computer that doesn't know a joke. It won't go beyond its
Oh yeah, if it's got the self-driving thing, it won't cross the lines, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Diana, you okay now?
I think so.
Okay.
No, I somehow got muted. Okay.
Yeah, well, I had muted you for a bit there, but so you have any last words? Anything you're going to be doing coming up?
Oh my. Well, there's Sunday, of course. I'll see what I can do about being on Sunday.
Yeah, we have a Sunday almost every week.
Almost.
Oh my God.
The Amiga's son has been doing some playing checkers with the stuff downstairs, so maybe I can start getting to work on some of it and trying to get my studio together.
Okay, well, that would be good.
Yeah.
I would like that.
Yeah,
yes.
he's moving stuff around, making some space for you.
Yeah, there's actually, I don't know. It feels like there's too much space for simply moving things around. I don't know what's going on. I can't find a lot of the books, so I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to go down there after the show today and see what's doing what to whom and for how much.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. That starting to make a little bit of progress on you getting more settled in there.
Moo. It's just unfortunate that it has taken so long.
Jenny, you have any last words for us today?
Omega.
Okay. That's the final word on that. Mage, what have you got going on? Another garden show coming up?
The gardening. I have an idea. I have an idea for a video, but I don't want to announce it since I might have to postpone it to get some growth on plants going for it. Not sure how I want to go about with that. Well, movie night thing got moved to Tuesday, if you hadn't heard, and we'll be doing Iron Man 2 for that.
Okay, that'd be good.
Now, how do the people in the audience get hooked up with that?
Well, if most of our audience here are in the DM groups, and you'll see the link go out in there.
Yeah, if you want to join in movie night and you're not in a group where you see a link, you'll just have to send Mage a DM on Twitter.
Yeah.
Shadegada.
I also put it in Purple's Discord as well.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't have too much going on either. Just be here. Well, no, I won't be here next week, but I'll be back the week after.
Fine.
Yeah, sorry, but the doctors schedule things. We don't always have a lot of choices what day they put it on.
Molly is using my foot as a pillow.
Yeah,
Yep.
unfortunately, my doctors have this thing about scheduling me for things on my dialysis days.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mage, we are going to do the show next week.
Yeah, we can do the show next week.
Okay, I'll see if I can rustle up a guest.
Okay.
Somebody interesting.
Just have we'll just need Purple to select the topic of the day.
Yep. Yeah, I'll put up the card as normal. And, I mean, if you want to suggest a topic because you're running it, that would be fine. Otherwise, I'll pick one out.
Do prophylactics make good water balloons?
Yeah, but they're a bit expensive. But okay, are the prophylactics made of sheep? Are those biodegradable?
What? Who? Huh?
Some of the prophylactics are actually, I'm not sure exactly what, if they're made from the animal's intestines or something. Yeah, never mind. As Slothgirl says, never stay on topic anyway. You just kind of mention it at the beginning and let things go wherever they may.
Well, I brought up superstitions. I don't know where the rest of you were. But... God.
Yeah, well, I mentioned a couple at the beginning. Okay, but with that, then we will bid you all a good day. Oh,
Bid them all adieu.
Yep, catch you
Or
around.
don't.
Dayu korostu.
Later, all.
Don't
Later.
get caught.